or just sort of cold or flu-like symptoms along this period of time. And the reason for that is very simple in theory. When we're going from summer to winter and we're in that fall season, we just spent the last 3 months or so, 4 months, in a very hot climate. Our body had accumulated an increased Agni, digestive power, in that period of time. So now all of a sudden, there's no longer this external source of heat. Our body doesn't really know what to do. And so it tries to play catch up in terms of your thermal temperature by either increasing it or decreasing it to match the outside season. When that happens, your body is drawing energy away from the rest of the faculties. Case in point, your immune system. And so if there's any little bit of imbalances that occur, whether it's you ate something bad that you shouldn't have eaten, or increased amounts of stress, anything from simple, basically interactions, whether it's a handshake or a small cough, irritation can turn into this whole full-blown flu. And the reason for that is because your body, your immune system especially, becomes very sensitive to all of those external happenings. When that happens, it's very important to sort of minimize the amount of all of these different scenarios that could occur that will develop flu-like symptoms if not treated instantly, or if not dealt with instantly, excuse me. And same thing going from the winter time to the summer, this time of spring, a lot of people get seasonal allergies. Now, the whole concept of it is we're just going from a sort of cold and dry, rough winter to a more radiant, vibrant, wet springtime. And so when there's increased water, what happens is all of the water in our bodies doesn't really know at what temperature it should sustain itself. We are made up of almost 80% water, about 75, 80% water. And so if any bit of that water is thrown off just a little bit, it'll throw our entire immune system out of whack. So something as simple as a runny nose or a sore throat can then develop into an entire cold or flu-like symptom. So, moreover, the specific times that we chose this, or that we prefer patients to perform these seasonal cleanses, is at the time of the equinox. And it's a very, very delicate time for all of the different faculties of our physiology, whether it's stress, so in terms of the mind, whether it's digestion, elimination, all of these faculties are affected by the seasonal change. Some people become really happy going from sort of cold and dull winter and radiant summertime or springtime. Flowers are blooming, and everybody's cheers is sort of cheerful and uplifted. And on the other hand, when we're going from that spring and the beautiful fall into a cold, rough winter, everybody automatically gets this sort of dullness or depression and a low gradation of sorts. And so these cleanses, it not only helps to cleanse the physiology, but now we've just listed a few tips and tricks that most of our Ayurvedic members already know in terms of why we enjoy these things. Something as simple as sipping warm water with honey throughout the day helps reduces the Amla. Again, the reason that we like warm water, hot water so much is because our body has to do less work to break it down and to metabolize it, assimilate it, and then eliminate it. Early to bed, early to rise will balance the overall physiology. This is even more important, especially during the seasonal changes, because if we can work out a schedule to where we're going to bed with the sun and waking up with the sun, when the days are getting longer and the nights are getting shorter, it's very important to sort of allow your biological rhythm of sleep to catch up. All of a sudden, we're hit with daylight savings. And what happens is it sort of plays a trick on a lot of people. Even for the first few days, it's overwhelming. In the summertime, we like it. In the springtime, we enjoy it because we get to sleep in more. But it's very complicated in terms of rhythms of your body. Your body doesn't really understand the concept of time in the way that humans have it defined. And so your body will automatically wake up in your routine. If you were to wake up 6 o'clock every day, your body will wake up at what it thinks 6 o'clock is, not the new 5 o'clock that you've now set your alarm to. Does that make sense? So early to bed and early to rise also helps with rest and rejuvenation. When we get a complete sleep, and when I say complete, I mean a deep sleep, when we're in that stage 3 or even REM sleep, when we're in those different stages, what happens is our body goes in and it sort of cleans up our entire body, entire physiology. It goes into the brain and cuts off any unnecessary, unwanted memories or thoughts and things. It goes into the body and helps heal. Whether you have a scar on your leg, it'll make sure that it sends enough platelets there to either scab over or to promote healing in some sort of way. If you have an internal wound, if you have sluggishness, if you have digestion, elimination, all of these different things are taking place while you're asleep. So it's very, very important for you to get a well and complete amount of sleep. Daily Abhyanga helps cleanse the body of toxins and promotes well-being. If you don't do a daily Abhyanga or oil massage every day, the seasonal change, the turn of the seasonal change is when it is most important. Aside from Panchakarma, the daily Abhi will really help to sort of anything that is remaining in the body over this accumulated winter where we're basically training our body to store, or in the summertime when we have this increased heat, we want something to cool us down. There's a lot of stress that is constant. You know, it doesn't always have to be work related or family related. Whatever it is, it's always exciting. And so when we take a daily oil massage or do it ourselves, what happens is we're slowly brushing off some of that stress. So it doesn't become quite as accumulated over time and then become very thick and heavy and sort of amlified. There's a few herbs that we also love during this time. Let's start with turmeric, probably the most common and well-known. Everybody knows it as an anti-inflammatory, antiviral, all of these good things. The reason I like turmeric so much in Ayurveda is because the anti-inflammatory property is the antiviral native trap. Now, there's also one in India because of this one herb. Because of the increased turmeric in our diets, there is basically a restructuring of the brain that takes place with turmeric. And so when we're going through these seasonal changes, one, it helps to fight off any viruses and bacteria that enters the body, and it helps to alleviate any stress that could be caused because of these changes. I'm going to skip over to Amla now. Amla, we all know, is in the Zri drink. Amalaki is one of the main components in Triphala. It's one of the 3 fruits. Amla is used, Amla powder, and the fruit itself is an immunity booster, and it's power packed with vitamin C. Gram to gram, Amla has 130% more vitamin C than an orange. And when we increase this vitamin C, it's very similar to a question that was previously asked, was zinc. Zinc in Western medicine is excellent for the turn of the season and to help sort of promote immunity and antiviral properties. The main thing with both of these components is if Agni is too low and there's no uptake of these actual properties, then it's useless. You can eat all the amla you want, you can take all the zinc you want, you can take all the turmeric you want, but there will be no effect of that. And why? Purely for the fact that it's not being metabolized and assimilated the way that it needs to be. Now, guduchi. Guduchi is probably a little less known. Guduchi is excellent for immune support and blood purification. What does that mean? It goes in and scrapes the blood? Yeah, but more so it's great for the liver and kidneys. A lot of people over time, whether they're vegetarian or they eat meat, all of the different diets and everything, people will always tend to have sluggish livers. Now, I've seen complete yogis, haven't drank a drop of alcohol in their life, complete vegetarians, and they come to me and say, I have an inflamed liver, or they have fatty liver degeneration. And all of this is because of unhealthy blood. Is because when that blood is being sort of putrefied as well as being circulated through the body, your body isn't able to gain all of the nutrients that it needs. And so with guduchi, it helps to sort of clean the liver and kidneys and in turn purify the blood so that you are getting the most out of whatever is in your blood, good or bad. Moving on. Recipes. So with these herbs, how can you sort of consume them? What is the best method for that appropriate uptake that we were talking about? 3 tablespoons of turmeric and 1 tablespoon of raw honey. A little bit of roasted cardamom, you can grind it, make it into a powder, and jaggery or cane sugar, solidified cane sugar for taste. With the honey, it becomes pretty sweet, but if it's still a little bit too spicy or astringent for you, the jaggery helps. But you mix it together into a little paste, and it becomes a sort of a digestive. It helps ease the anti-inflammatory response that comes with the digestive process in the colon and small intestine, as well as you will get your quote-unquote dose of turmeric for the day to help with that antiviral component. Guduchi tea. Guduchi can be found at any Indian store. I know for you locals, they have the powdered form at Sunrise Naturals, and you can just get 5 to about 7 grams of guduchi powder, boil it in a liter of water and reduce to half, and then sip that throughout the day. Again, guduchi can be very bitter, so if you need a little bit of sugar or a little bit of honey, that's fine as well. Just remember not to add honey to anything that is boiling. We're going to skip over the masala chai. That might be a little too decadent for Ayurveda, but it is a wonderful recipe. I will email this document out to everybody that is on the call, so you won't have to worry about writing these down. Very important. Tulsi is holy basil, and it is a very revered plant in Ayurveda and in India in general. And the reason that we like Tulsi so much is because, one, it's very easy to grow, so everybody should have a fresh Tulsi plant in their house. But more so, it is very good for the mind. When you eat or drink Tulsi tea or eat just the Tulsi leaves, what it does is it, again, sort of helps with this restructuring of the brain synapses. And the reason that we like all of this so much is because meditation will enhance our practice. But without it, there has to be some sort of physiological components to managing stress. And that's what we talk about when we say, sort of getting good sleep and drinking all of these herbs and teas and things. There has to be some way for us to manage the amount of stress that we put on ourselves. That being said, drinking this tea, you can add a little bit of ginger and black pepper. Again, pipli or long pepper. For you locals, you can get all of these ingredients at Sunrise Naturals. It is a little bit spicy, and so you will have to brew this just a little longer, and you can actually let this one sit. The other two need to be made fresh and consumed within a day or so, but you can drink this for about 3 to 4 days. And Tulsi is great for mind, memory, as well as we talked about the stress relieving components of it. Now that we've covered this document, I just want to talk about what you all can do at home to sort of prepare yourself for this cleanse. Next Thursday, we will be talking about a very fun and important topic. It's going to be a little down and dirty, if you will, but we will be talking about poop and really get down to what is exactly going on in the digestive process, what it means when you have different colored stools or foul smelling odors or gas or bloating or any of these different scenarios. And just before we do that, I would like everybody to do some sort of cleanse. So I know that I've talked to each of you individually and put you on either a castor oil cleanse or the black diamonds, the GH pills, or vital. And so everybody has some sort of these components. So depending on what it is, I want you to go ahead and do a small little experiment. I want you to eat your favorite meal, whether it is on the diet, not on the diet, whatever it is. I want you to eat your favorite meal. Consider it your last supper at lunch. Pick one of these days at lunch. And then for dinner, I want you to eat something that is very, very strict in terms of the diet. Something that I would be very proud of. Let's put it that way. Very plain, simple kanji water, rice, barley water, light brothy soup, warm, soupy consistency, khichdi, whatever it is. And the next thing, you will take your form of purgatory, whether it's castor oil or vital colon or black diamonds, the GH pills, whatever it is. And the reason I set it up like this is because I want you to associate going on in terms of your emotions with your digestive system. So we spoke previously about the enteric nervous system and their connection, the mind-gut connection, and exactly what happens. But the joy that comes from eating food that you really enjoy and the sort of pain or sorrow that comes with eating you have to. and exactly how that affects your digestive system. Some of you will take your cleanse the next morning and it'll be very mild. You will go a couple times, you won't have any cramps or aches or pains. It'll be nice running consistency and everything will just come out the way that it's supposed to. Others, some of you will have quite a bit of aches and pains in terms of stomach cramps and things. You'll have to go multiple times. It'll feel sort of incomplete. You'll have to keep running back to the bathroom and all of these different things. And so I want everybody to just sort of write up a few sentences about exactly what happened, and we will talk about all of the different scenarios that could take place. So when we do this cleanse, sometime in the next week or so, I want you to on how you feel for up to 6 hours after the cleanse. Okay, after your last bowel movement, write it down. I will definitely take the time to look at it and give you feedback and read the notes. But everything from emotion, whether you feel happy, angry, mad, sad, whatever it is, to your state of Agni. Are you hungry? Are you done for the day? Whatever your state of Agni or digestion. And lastly, I want you to sort of note or, take heed of exactly what is going on in your body. Do you have any headaches? Do you have any weird aches or pains? Do you anywhere that the Ama could have traveled to and lodged itself? Now keep in mind, this is very important because we are already going through a transitional phase. For those of you that are local, there was quite a bit of a couple days. All of a sudden, last couple nights, it's been pouring rain. And so when it fluctuates like this, we're automatically susceptible to any sort of bacteria and viruses. On top of that, we are doing our own cleanse. We are purposefully weakening our Agni with these purgation processes and then slowly rebuilding it up so that when it is a full-blown seasonal change, we are no longer affected by it as much as other people or people who have not done any sort of cleanse, or physiology might not be quite as balanced as ours. Okay? Now let me open up all of the mics as well as the notes. Does anybody have any questions?
Have been muted.
We have a couple people typing.